I want to start with something simple. Not a question, not a theory, just a feeling. The kind that's hard to explain. You wake up in the morning, nothing is wrong, nothing is broken. Your life from the outside looks fine, but something feels different. You go through your day. You do what you're supposed to do. You answer messages. You complete tasks. You talk to people. And yet, there's a strange distance between you and everything happening. You're there, but not fully. Things that used to feel exciting don't. Things that used to upset you, barely move you. Even moments that should feel good just pass, flat. And if you try to describe it, it sounds like this. I don't feel bad. I just don't feel much at all. That's emotional numbness, and most people misunderstand it. They think it's laziness, or disinterest, or a lack of gratitude. But it's not. It's something much more precise. It's your brain adjusting. Because at some point, whether you realized it or not, you were feeling too much. Not necessarily in obvious ways, not necessarily in dramatic moments, but over time, quietly, consistently. Stress, pressure, uncertainty, expectations, and maybe not even from one source, just everything. Your brain has a limit to how much emotional intensity it can process. And when that limit is reached, it doesn't break. It adapts. It lowers the volume. Not just on the bad emotions, on everything. Because from a biological perspective, it's safer to feel less than to feel overwhelmed. So the system does exactly what it was designed to do. It protects you, but protection doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like absence. And that's where the confusion begins. Because you start asking questions. Why don't I feel anything? Why can't I enjoy things anymore? What's wrong with me? And the more you try to force yourself to feel, the less it works. Because numbness is not a lack of emotion. It's a reduction, a dimming. Your emotions are still there. They're just turned down. There's also another layer to this, one that most people don't expect. Modern life doesn't just exhaust your body. It exhausts your nervous system. Constant notifications, constant content, constant input. Your brain is processing more information in a single day than it was designed to handle, and every piece of content carries emotional weight. Even if it's small, a video, a message, a headline, each one triggers something. Curiosity, stress, comparison, dopamine, over and over. So what does your brain do? The same thing it always does when there's too much input. It adapts. It raises the threshold. Meaning, it takes more stimulation to feel the same emotion. And eventually, normal life starts to feel quiet, not peaceful, empty, because your baseline has shifted. Things that used to be enough no longer register the same way. And again, this isn't failure. It's adjustment. But there's something even deeper happening. Sometimes, numbness isn't just about overload. It's about protection from something specific, a past experience, a period of stress, a time when feeling deeply wasn't safe. Maybe you had to stay functional. Maybe you had to keep going. Maybe you didn't have space to process what you felt. So your brain made a decision, not consciously, but effectively. Less feeling equals more stability. And that pattern stayed. Even after the situation changed, even after things became safer, because your brain doesn't update automatically. It updates through experience, through evidence, through time. So now, you're living in a reality where things are okay, but your system is still operating like they're not. And that creates a strange disconnect. You know you should feel something, but you don't. And the more you notice it, the more distant everything feels. But here's the part that matters. Numbness is not permanent. It's not who you are. It's a state. And like any state, it can change. Not instantly, not dramatically, but gradually. Because the goal is not to force yourself to feel everything again. That would overwhelm the system. The goal is to create conditions where feeling becomes safe again. And that starts with something very small. Not intensity, but awareness. Noticing what is there, even if it's faint. A slight interest, a small reaction, a moment of calm. These are not nothing. They're the beginning of something returning. Because emotions don't come back all at once. They come back in layers, quietly. And the more your brain experiences that it's okay to feel again, the more it allows the volume to rise, slowly. And maybe the most important thing to understand is this. You're not broken. You didn't lose your ability to feel. Your brain just turned things down. Because at some point, that was the safest option available. And now, you're in the process of learning something new. That you don't have to be protected in the same way anymore. That you can feel again, without being overwhelmed. And that process takes time, but it works, because your brain is always adapting. And here's something that most people don't expect. When emotions start to come back, they don't arrive in the way you want. You think you'll suddenly feel happiness again, excitement, motivation, energy. But often, the first thing that returns is discomfort. A small wave of anxiety, a bit of sadness, a feeling you forgot you were avoiding. And that can feel confusing, because you waited so long to feel something. And when it finally comes, it's not pleasant. So your brain does what it's always done. It tries to shut it down again, not because it's broken, but because it remembers. It remembers that feeling too much. Used to be overwhelming. So even now, when it's safe, it hesitates. And this is where most people get stuck, because they interpret that discomfort as a sign. Maybe I was better off numb. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe something is wrong again. But it's not a setback. It's a transition. Your system is recalibrating. It's learning that feeling something doesn't automatically lead to losing control. And that takes repetition, not force, not pressure, but exposure. Small moments where you feel something. And nothing bad happens. Where you experience emotion and stay grounded. Where you don't run from it, but you don't drown in it either.